obviously this next guy, Rick Carlisle's won his, but
he has one.
But Adelman, I mean, and Rick will agree. I'm telling you, that Portland team, when he had, I'll start with Duckworth, who's not here anymore, Jerome Kersey, who's not here anymore, and you got Clyde, you got Terry Porter, and Buck Williams. I think Rick would take them five any day of the week.
And by the way, it's Rick Carlisle, the head coach of the Pacers and the head of the coaches association.
Any of us would take those five.
And you played against that group as well. But Rick, just to start here, we just spoke with Rick. He gets the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award. You played against some of the teams that he coached, and then you ended up coaching against them. From your perspective, just some thoughts on his career.
Well, he's had a massive impact on the game. As a great coach and as an innovator. His Portland teams were the first teams that really got up and down, played flow, didn't call a lot of plays. I mean, he let those guys play and gained the reputation of being a real player's coach. And, that was a team that got to the finals twice within 3 years, and were very, very close and easily could have won it. His teams in Sacramento were amazing to watch. He was really the first guy that really developed the movement game and brought his bigs up to the elbows and, gave his players who were good shooters the confidence to shoot the ball anywhere, anytime, from anywhere. And, with Divac, with Weber, and you got Stojakovic and the other guys, and Bibby and the guys who were moving and cutting. It was a beautiful brand of basketball, very unpredictable, and it really started to change the way the game was coached. And I think the other thing that you can say about Rick, and this proves that great coaching matters, is that in the 38 years that the Sacramento Kings have been in Sacramento, they've made the playoffs 9 times, 8 times with Rick Adelman and 1 time with Mike Brown. Yeah. And that's 2 great coaches.
Yeah, and Coach, I talked about how he has been a chameleon and how he has changed systems everywhere he's gone. Like some coaches might be caught up in their system and they want to continue to run it. He basically had different systems in Houston, Sacramento, and Portland.
He always adjusted to his personnel. And I think if you look closely, you'll see that the majority of players that he coached, including the superstar players, had their best years playing for him because he empowered them, to play free and play their game, play loose, but still play a high-level winning style of basketball. Rick was a very underrated defensive coach. And, his understated personality and sort of low-key presence belies the fact that he was an earth mover in the history of the NBA game and how it evolved.
We're talking with Rick Carlisle, Justin Sherman, and Eddie Johnson ahead of Game 2 here from Denver. And Rick Adelman, just the winner of the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award. We're talking about that here with Rick. And, Rick Carlisle, or Rick Adelman here, Coach, just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, as Eddie does as a player, born at the wrong time, because now we're seeing even the coaches' salaries go up here a little bit. You're the head of the Coaches Association. You see that Monty Williams contract where he's going to be making $13 million a season. What are your thoughts there on that contract for Monty and what it does for you guys as coaches?
It was a beautiful week. It was a beautiful week. And it proves that, certain owners really recognize great coaching, great people. The timing was perfect, and this deal is gonna change the landscape of coaching. Not only for head coaches, but for assistant coaches too. I think you guys probably saw today. Kevin Young was signed to the highest assistant coach contract ever with Phoenix today at $2.3 million or something like that, or $2.25. And so we've got a good thing going. We've got a great game that's as fun to watch as it's ever been. The detractors can say what they want to about the three-point shooting and those kinds of things, but the space, the speed, and the skill level of the game, and now you've got centers who are shooting the ball, playmaking, and running pick and rolls, handling the ball, and so the possibilities continue to be limitless as the game moves forward.
Yeah, and you got the ultimate, maybe prototype player coming into the league this year, and Popovich gets his hands on him and Victor Wembanyama. What's your thoughts on that, and how fast do you think this kid is going to grow?
Well, he's amazing. He's an amazing prospect, a one of a kind, really in the history of the game that we've seen. A guy that tall that, from what I could see, can virtually play any position on the floor. And I know that Pop will bring him along the right way. I'm certain that they will not overplay him minutes-wise. And he'll have the opportunity to grow in a system that's proven to be a winning system, obviously, over the last 25 years.
And Coach, you mentioned that detractors can say what they want, and one of the things that turns people off is the flopping, but it looks like the league's going to take care of that, at least experimenting with it here in the Summer League. There's a report they're going to hand out technicals for flopping. From your coach's seat, how do you view that?
They'll take care of it. I mean, flopping was a big problem 7 or 8 years ago. Right. They instituted a fine system. Yeah. They had the ability to retroactively fine, and they did that, and players adjust, and it stopped. Now there's become a different kind of embellishment, and so it's time to put a stop to this, and they will. And years ago, I don't know. I think Eddie, you were probably still playing. There was a big to do about respect for the game stuff, and the league came down on certain conduct and behavior, and the players adjusted and they fixed it. So they'll fix this too.
And it looks like the other move that they're going to make, or at least experiment with in Vegas, is the second coach's challenge. So that's something that directly impacts you. Yeah. What do you think about that idea, Coach?
There's no weapon as powerful as an idea whose time has come. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. The initial challenge made sense. I think everybody knew. It was tried out in the D League, which became the G League. They had success with it. Now it just seems logical that if you have a successful challenge, you should be able to retain it for at least one more. And so I think that's what it sounds like. It's going to the direction that's going to go. And I think the concern for moving it along too quickly is the time of game flow, all those kinds of things. But so many things are in a good place with the NBA game right now. I think this only enhances it.
Is it good to see parity now? And then, I know it's not always enjoyable to see a team that struggled early like Miami did. And I'm obviously against load management, but they were doing it, and they basically worked their way to the final. How does that get adjusted? Because do teams look at that and say, maybe we should try that?
What are you talking about? Eliminating load management?
Well, not eliminating, but I don't know.
Regulate? Yeah,
it's over the top.
The league has already regulated it. I mean, there are already stipulations and rules and guidelines in place. I think in Miami's case, I don't see Miami as a team that's done a lot of load management over the years. Their guys have been, warriors, and so I think they just had guys that were out. And so when that happens, you get a veteran team with experience that's dinged up during the year. They get healthy, and all of a sudden they get very dangerous. And they played Milwaukee. I guess it wasn't the first round. Giannis misses a couple of games, and now they're dealing with Jimmy Butler. And so. But Eddie, back to what you said. The parity is something that is extremely exciting. There's never been this level of parity in the league. And so it puts a premium on how you build your roster. It puts a premium on great coaching because the margins for everybody become thinner and thinner.
Yeah, I love the idea of not knowing who's going to win the title, and I think it's 5 different champions now, whoever wins this in 5 consecutive years. Justin Turbine, Eddie Johnson talking with Rick Carlisle, Pacers head coach, head of the Coaches Association. They hand out the Chuck Daly Lifetime Achievement Award to Rick Adelman here earlier today. And you've been very protective over the years of other coaches within the association. And Eric Spoelstra has deservedly got a lot of credit for getting this far in Miami, I think for the 6th time in his career. On the other side, a place you used to play, a lot of heat here on Joe Mazzulla. How do you feel that Joe did here this season, and some of the criticism that's being levied on him by the media after his first season?
I thought he did a phenomenal job. I mean, coming back from 3-1 against Philly, and then coming back from 0-3, to get to a Game 7 is pretty amazing. You're talking about a guy that went from, I think, the fourth assistant position to the head spot. And I coached against him 3 or 4 times this year. I thought their teams were perfectly prepared, and the level of scrutiny and pressure is just crazy. And when you talk about parity, you're also talking about a level of parity with those top 5 or 6 teams, and with really thin margins. And look, in Game 7, if Jason Tatum doesn't tweak his ankle on the first play, everybody's going to be singing a different tune about Joe Mazzulla. I mean, they're going to be talking about how this guy was inspirational and how he positioned that team to do 2 things that were historic.
And Coach, we'll close on this one because we got this news just a couple of minutes ago that Tyrese Halliburton has committed to be a part of the USA roster for the 2023 FIBA World Cup. You're his coach. Just your reaction to that news.
One of the great young players in the game. For me, as good a point guard as we have in the world. And this experience playing FIBA basketball will only enhance a young all-star player. So we're very happy for him to have this opportunity, and he'll be great. He'll do great.
Coach, always appreciate the time. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
That's the head coach of the Indiana
Right,
Pacers. It's Rick Carlisle, also the head of the Coaches Association here, Eddie.